All right, it's now time to ask the expert yet again. Dr. Natasha Bhuyan with One Medical Group joining me here in studio to answer your questions live on the air. Our first question is from Philip in Phoenix. With the summer heat, what's the best way to keep food from going bad if you don't work in an office?
That is a great question, especially on Earth Day. So, for a lot of people, they end up wasting food because it gets spoiled. And so a couple things that I advise people in Arizona, make sure that if you're going around and you don't work in an office, have a cooler with you at all times. So that's a good way. The other thing is make sure you know what you're eating and where you're going. So, you might be going out and about, you don't want to have food that's refrigerated. And so making sure that you have food that's able to be preserved when you're out and about makes a huge difference. But there is something called the 2-2-2 rule. And so it's this idea of food is usually good within 2 hours, or you can refrigerate it for 2 days, or you can freeze it, put it in the freezer, and you're able to use that for 2 months. And so being mindful as it gets hotter about when you need to eat food and when you need to store it away.
Okay, Katie from Mesa asking, what's the best use for all the extra citrus from the past season?
Oh, we have a grapefruit tree, and we had all kinds of grapefruits. I was giving it to my mom and all my mom's friends and everyone I work with. Citrus is amazing because you can actually freeze it. So oftentimes people will juice the citrus. An easy way to freeze it is put it in a little ice cube tray, freeze that, you can pop it out anytime. Other nice thing is if you don't have time to juice, I completely understand, you can freeze that citrus whole and you're able to thaw it and eat it when it's ready. Now, the peel is not going to be good, so the peel will spoil, but the juice inside you're still able to eat, so freezing citrus is a great idea. The other thing is citrus has so many other, things you can use it for. So I have patients that will take their leftover citrus and they'll use it for kind of aromatherapy in the house. So they soak it in water, create kind of your own aroma and blends. People will make candles out of it. Potpourri, all kinds of things you can do with citrus. It's such a great pungent flavor.
Okay, love that. Louise from Sun City says, I do my own cooking, but how can I find out about preservatives in restaurant foods? I'm 87 years old.
Yeah, this is great. I love that you cook at home, Louise, and it's very true. If you make a meal at home versus a meal in the restaurant, not only is it cheaper at home, but in the restaurant, it is filled with preservatives. There's often much more salt than you'd use at home. There's all kinds of sauces, creams, butter that you don't know about. Now restaurants are very much more candid about what is in their food. And so you should just ask. A lot of restaurants will publish exactly what's in their food, what preservatives are there. If you can't find it online, ask them. And you can also ask the chef to make the food your way. You can ask the chef, low on butter, low on salt, change the food that they're making when you go out so it's healthier.
Yeah, don't be afraid, especially for what it costs. I mean, get it the way that you want it and it's a healthy option for you. Emilio from Apache Junction says, what is a great healthy snack like pistachios?
Pistachios are a great snack. Here's another good snack I tell people, homemade trail mix. But that's it's expensive when you buy a bag of trail mix. It's often like $7. If you make trail mix yourself and add what you want, you can add nuts, you can add raisins, you can even add a little bit of candies. It's much cheaper to make it on your own, and you can make it healthy and catered to you. Trail mix is a great snack.
You can kind of decide how much you want on any given day with smaller Ziplocs or what have you.
Exactly, yeah. Fruits are also a great snack. Eggs are another one, and then cheese is another great one. So those are ones you can grab on the go. And then the other thing I tell people, hummus and raw vegetables, excellent snack.
Okay, Anthony from Gilbert, is there a meal supplement that you'd recommend for the days when you can't stop to sit down and eat solid food?
Meal supplements are really interesting because we generally don't recommend people just drink shakes or just have meal supplements altogether. Now, there are some instances when people are sick and they're not able to eat. There are things like protein shakes people can have, but what I really advise is people eat solid foods if they're able to. Now, if you don't have time to sit down and eat a full meal, a lot of patients will actually eat 3 small meals per day or 6 small meals per day rather than 3 large meals per day. So it's better to just eat small foods often on the go if you need to, rather than having a shake or an entirely liquid meal supplement. Those don't often have all the nutrition that you need.
And even in that instance, you still need a refrigerator to keep it cool. Nobody's drinking a hot
It's not easy, and it's honestly, it's not saving you too much money, and it's really not always healthy because those meal supplements, sometimes people do them because they're trying to lose weight. It just doesn't have the calories and the nutrition that you need.
Certainly. All right, great questions from our viewers. Thank you so much. He's going to go to the green room and continue answering your questions, but keep